Hello, 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 and welcome back to Octo English Academy, the coziest podcast for English learners on the entire internet. I'm Sophie, and I am genuinely so happy you're here today. Seriously, whether you're listening on your morning commute, staring something on the stove, or honestly, pretending to be busy so you can avoid a phone call you don't want to take, you are welcome here. This space is yours. Grab something warm to drink and let's settle in.
The avoiding the phone call one, that is so specific and so relatable. Hi everyone, I'm Jamie, and yes, I have 100% listened to podcasts just to avoid having difficult conversations. It works great, by the way. 10 out of 10 strategy.
I'm not going to confirm or deny that I do the same thing. Speaker 2, how are you today? And I mean, actually, not the I'm fine, thanks version.
Okay, real talk, I'm a little all over the place today. I had this moment this morning where I made a perfect cup of coffee, like genuinely perfect. The foam was beautiful. And then I knocked it over before I took a single sip. Completely gone. So my day started with a small tragedy, and I've been quietly recovering ever since.
Oh, no, the foam was beautiful?
The foam was a work of art. Gone. Just gone.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. I'm so sorry, Jamie. On behalf of everyone who has ever lost the perfect cup of coffee, we feel that deeply.
Thank you. It means a lot. Okay, what about you? Real answer only.
Real answer? I'm actually really good today. I went to bed early last night for the first time in forever, and I woke up feeling like an actual human being instead of a tired ghost. It's amazing what sleep does. I forgot.
A tired ghost. That's exactly what I am most mornings.
Okay, beautiful listeners, your turn now. How are you really today? We want the honest version. Don't just think, I'm fine in your head. Actually say it out loud in a full sentence. Something like, I'm a little nervous because I have a job interview tomorrow. Or maybe, I'm happy because the weather is finally warm. Say it out loud, right now, wherever you are, to yourself, to your pet, to the wall. It doesn't matter. Using your voice is practicing your English, and every time you practice, you grow.
Your wall is rooting for you. I genuinely believe that.
The most supportive wall. All right, today's episode, we are diving into something that is so important and something that a lot of our listeners have actually written to us asking about.
We got so many messages about this one, and honestly, it makes complete sense because this is a real situation that millions of people go through, and nobody really tells you how to do it step by step in clear English.
Today, we're talking about how to rent an apartment in the USA as an immigrant, step by step.
And we're going to focus on 4 specific things that confuse people the most: the credit score, the deposit, the lease, and something called a guarantor. Don't worry if you don't know those words yet. That's literally why we're here.
This episode is B1 level, which means it's completely friendly for intermediate learners. If you're a beginner, also welcome. You can pause, rewind, repeat as many times as you need. There is zero judgments in this podcast. Zero.
The only rule here is that you're kind to yourself while you're learning. That's it.
And if you're finding this episode helpful, please give it a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It takes about 5 seconds, and it helps us more than you know.
And speaking of comments, we have a little community challenge for you today. We want you to write this sentence in the comments, filling in the blanks.
I'm blank from blank, and today I feel blank because blank.
For example, I'm Carlos from Mexico, and today I feel excited because I'm looking for my first apartment in the US.
We read every single comment, every single one, so leave yours. We want to know who you are and how you're doing. Okay, so let's paint a picture. You've arrived in the United States. You have a place to stay temporarily, maybe a friend's couch, maybe an Airbnb, maybe a short-term rental. And now you need to find something permanent, a real apartment, your own space.
And you go online, you start looking at listings, and everything looks beautiful and sort of possible until you actually start applying, and then you hit walls everywhere.
Walls everywhere is exactly the right image because the US rental system has a lot of requirements that are specific to this country, and if you're new, you probably don't have any of them yet.
So let's start at the very beginning. The first thing almost every landlord in the US will ask about is your credit score.
Okay, credit score. Let's break this down simply. A credit score is a number, usually between 300 and 850, that tells landlords and banks how reliable you are with money. Have you paid your bills on time? Have you had loans? Have you borrowed and repaid? All of that history gets turned into one number.
A high number, like 700 or above, means you're considered trustworthy. A low number or no number at all raises questions.
And here's the painful part for immigrants. When you first arrive in the US, you have no credit history. Not a bad score, no score. You're basically invisible to the system.
Which feels so unfair, right? Like I might have been completely responsible with money my whole life back home. I paid every bill on time, I saved carefully, I was financially solid. But the American system doesn't know that. It can't see your history from another country.
It's one of the most frustrating parts of arriving somewhere new. You have to start from zero, and it takes time.
So what do? First, be upfront about it. Don't hide it or apologize for it. When you contact a landlord, you can say, I recently moved to the US and I'm still building my credit history. I'm happy to provide additional documentation if needed.
That sentence is so good, Speaker 2, because it's honest, it's confident, and it opens a door instead of closing one. You're not making excuses, you're explaining your situation and showing you're proactive.
Proactive means you're taking action before someone even asks. It's a really good word for situations like this.
Okay, next big thing, the security deposit. This is money you pay before you move in, usually equal to 1 or 2 months of rent. The landlord holds on to this money while you live there. If you leave the apartment in good condition, you get the deposit back. If there's damage beyond normal wear and tear, they can keep some of it.
Normal wear and tear means the small, expected things that happen over time. A scuff on the wall from furniture, a little fading from sunlight. That's normal. But if you put a hole in the wall or break a window, that's damage, and your deposit can be used for that.
In the US, most states have specific laws about deposits. Landlords usually have to return your deposit within 14 to 30 days after you move out. And if they keep any of it, they have to give you a written explanation.
So, always document the condition of your apartment when you move in. Walk through every room, take photos or videos, note anything that's already damaged, and send it to your landlord in writing. Email is perfect for this.
Yes, because if there's a dispute later, if they try to keep your deposit for something that was already broken before you moved in, you have proof.
Always protect yourself with paper, or emails, or photos. Just documentation is your best friend.
Okay, now we get to something that confuses a lot of people, the lease. The lease is the official written contract between you and your landlord that explains everything: how much you pay each month, how long you're agreeing to stay, the rules of the building, what happens if you want to leave early, who pays for what.
The most common lease in the US is a 12-month lease, meaning you're agreeing to rent the apartment for 1 full year. Some places offer month to month, which is more flexible, but usually costs more per month.
Reading a lease can feel like reading a legal document because it basically is one. The language is formal, the sentences are long, and there are clauses and sections and subclauses.
I remember the first lease I signed. I read it 3 times and still wasn't sure what I was agreeing to. I just kept nodding like I understood.
The nod of fake understanding. We've all been there.
Very familiar nod.
So here are some key questions to ask before you sign a lease. First, what is the lease term, meaning how long is the agreement? Second, what is the monthly rent and what does it include? Third, are utilities included? Utilities are things like electricity, water, gas, and internet. Fourth, what is the policy on renewing the lease, meaning what happens when the year is up? Fifth, is there a penalty for breaking the lease early?
That last one is really important. Breaking a lease means leaving before the agreed time. Most leases have a financial penalty for this. Sometimes you have to pay 2 or 3 months of rent as a fee.
So, before you sign, make sure you're genuinely planning to stay for the full term. Life changes, obviously, but know what you're committing to.
And if there's anything in the lease you don't understand, ask. You can say, "I'd like to clarify this section before I sign," or "Can you explain what this clause means in simpler terms?" Any reasonable landlord will answer those questions.
And if they're impatient or dismissive about questions, that's actually useful information. A landlord who won't answer your questions before you sign is going to be difficult to deal with after you sign.
Exactly. How someone responds to a reasonable question tells you a lot about what kind of landlord they'll be.
Okay, and now the one that really trips people up, the guarantor, also sometimes called a cosigner.
A guarantor is a person, someone with strong U.S. credit history and income who agrees to sign the lease with you. They're basically saying to the landlord, "If this tenant can't pay rent, I will." It's a financial guarantee.
Which makes sense from a business perspective, even
Which makes sense from a business perspective, even if it feels a bit unfair from a personal one.
so, who can be your guarantor? Ideally, someone who knows you and trusts you, a family member who is already established in the U.S., a close friend, a colleague. Sometimes employers will act as guarantors for employees. There are also companies called guarantor services that will act as your guarantor for a fee. It costs money, but it can open doors that would otherwise stay closed.
Some well-known guarantor services include companies like Immigrant or the Guarantor. They assess your situation and, if approved, provide a guarantee letter that landlords accept.
It's not free. Usually a fee of something like 60 to 85% of 1 month's rent. But if you're stuck and you have no local credit and no one to cosign, it can be the thing that gets you your apartment.
And here's a phrase to know when asking someone to be your guarantor. "I'm looking for an apartment and the landlord requires a cosigner. Would you be comfortable being my guarantor? I'll handle all payments. They would only need to sign the lease with me."
That's honest, respectful, and clear. It explains what you're asking and reassures the person that they're not expected to actually pay anything, hopefully.
Right. And if they say no, that's okay. Don't push. Not everyone is comfortable taking on that kind of financial responsibility, even for someone they care about.
Let's talk about one more thing. Hidden fees. Oh, this one. This one gets people.
So many people. The rent price looks reasonable, you do your math, you think, "I can afford this," and then you sign and you realize,
There's a parking fee, a building amenity fee, a trash service fee, a pet fee, an admin processing fee, a monthly technology fee for the building's Wi-Fi in common areas, an elevator maintenance fee. Somehow, some way, your $800 apartment is costing you $1,100 a month.
This is so real. And in many states, new laws are being passed to require landlords to disclose all fees up front before you apply or sign anything. But it's not universal yet.
So always ask, before you apply, before you pay an application fee, before you get emotionally attached to the apartment, can you please provide a full breakdown of all monthly costs beyond the base rent?
All monthly costs, not just rent, everything, and get it in writing.
Everything in writing. That is the rental golden rule. Okay, beautiful people, let's slow down now. We covered a lot today, and we don't want any of it to feel like a blur. So let's do what we love, our soft word tour. Just a gentle, easy walk back through today's most important words.
slow and easy. You don't need to memorize everything right now. Just let the words settle in your mind, like they're finding their little spots.
I love that image. Okay, first word, credit score. A number between 300 and 850 that shows how reliable you are with money. The higher the number, the better. Example sentence, I'm working on building my credit score since I arrived in the U.S.
Second word, security deposit. Money you pay before you move in, held by the landlord, and returned when you leave if the apartment is in good condition. Example, my security deposit was equal to 1 month's rent.
Third word, lease. The official contract between you and your landlord that explains the terms of your rental agreement. Example, I read the lease carefully and asked about things I didn't understand.
Fourth word, guarantor, also called a cosigner.
a person with strong credit who agrees to be financially responsible if you can't pay. Example, my aunt agreed to be my guarantor because I didn't have U.S. credit history yet.
Fifth word, utilities. The services connected to your home, like electricity, water, gas, and internet. Example, I asked whether utilities were included in the monthly rent.
Sixth word, hidden fees. Extra costs that aren't always clearly stated at the beginning. Example, always ask for a full list of fees so there are no surprises later.
And seventh, documentation. Official papers or records that prove something. Example, I took photos of the apartment before I moved in as documentation.
7 words, all of them real, all of them useful for a real situation you might find yourself in, maybe even soon.
Here's your little challenge. Pick just one of those 7 words, the one that feels most important or most relevant to you right now, and make your own sentence with it. Say it out loud, write it in the comments, text it to a friend. Just use it once in your own words.
That's how words become yours. You use them, even just once.
And that is a wrap on today's episode of Octo English Academy. We talked about renting an apartment in the U.S. as an immigrant, step by step. Credit scores, security deposits, leases, guarantors, hidden fees, all of it.
You stuck with us through the whole thing, and that matters. Learning a language takes time. Learning a system, especially one that wasn't designed with you in mind, takes even more. And you're doing both at the same time. That's genuinely impressive.
If you're in the middle of this right now, if you're apartment hunting, filling out applications, dealing with rejections, trying to figure out the system, we see you. This stuff is hard, it's confusing, it's okay to feel overwhelmed by it.
But you're also someone who listens to podcasts to learn and grow. You're taking action, you're preparing, and that already puts you ahead.
You are part of this community, the Octo English Academy community. This cozy, warm, wonderful group of people from all over the world who are choosing to grow one episode at a time.
One small step at a time. That is always the way.
Please share this episode with someone who needs it, a friend who just arrived in the U.S., a family member who's about to sign their first lease, someone sitting in a hostel or a temporary room trying to figure out what comes next. This episode is for them.
Subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a comment, especially that fill-in-the-blank sentence. Like the episode if it helped you. All of those small things help us keep making this.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to learn. And thank you for being part of something that feels to us like a little family.
A very cozy, very global, very wonderful little family.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Jamie.
And this has been Octo English Academy. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Go read your lease carefully.
And ask about the hidden fees.
Always ask about the hidden fees.